That's ham. It is a beautiful magic morning out there. Welcome to Magic Mornings. I'm Dean, I'm your host. What do they taste like this week, old paper magic up there in Newcastle upon Tyne, UK, otherwise known as Brisbane, Australia? Well, let's find out. Let's find out, shall we? Ham. A little bit like me. How many of you said that? I bet you all said that, didn't you, little tinkers? You little tinker, 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 tinker. What have I got this week? This week, this. Walk on the Wild Side. A packet trick by Dan Harlan. It's wild. There is nothing to dislike about this trick. There is nothing to dislike about Dan Harlan. He's a great magician. He's a wonderful bloke. I've worked with him. If you are the MC of a show that Dan Harlan's on, you're in for a very easy time with him. He's going to show up to the tech. He's going to nail the tech. He's going to show up to the show. He's going to kill the show. Even if he goes on first or second or third, he's still going to kill it. There's no airs and graces, no pretensions. Then he's going to go home. You know, what's the problem? That's what's going to happen with Dan Harlan. He's a professional. And this is a professionally produced item like all of his tricks. And he's put loads of stuff out, hasn't he? We've grown up with his tricks. Like this one. And this one. And this one. And this one. Well, this one's called Walk on the Wild Side. It's a walk on the wild side. What is it? Well, it's a packet trick, and as you know, I do like packet tricks for the most part, and I love this one. It's a variation on Wildcard, which is basically a plot where you have loads of different cards that look one way, and you do some shenanigans to them, some funny things, some illusory things, in this case, wild. And they all change to the same card. They might start as the same card, then turn to another same card. Or I think there are versions where they're all different cards and they all change the same card. And there are versions with ungimmicked cards, and there are versions with gimmicked cards. These are gimmick cards, and this version of Wildcard is Dan Harlan's own approach to it. It's a stand-up version. You can do it walk around, or you can do it on the table. And it's a very, very strong version of Wildcard. And I don't just say that because I like Dan Harlan. I say that because I actually mean it. I think that Wildcard is probably the strongest packet trick you can do. Personally, I like Gypsy Curse by Peter Kane, which is there. And which is also a version of Wildcard. So that's what it is. What's in the box? Or what's in the pack? Well, some cards. Some gimmick cards. Lots of gimmick cards that you're going to like looking at, and then you're going to like playing with, and then you're going to like developing the trick over. So let's do a quick demo now of Walk on the Wild Side. Do you hear that? I think there was a tiger in the hallway. Here we go. It's a demonstration of Walk on the Wild Side by Dan Harlan. I've got some cards here. They're actually all the same, these cards. And they're the nines. I've taken the nines out of a pack of cards. You love watching my Elmsley count so close up, don't you, and scrutinising it? I know, it's a problematic move for me. Anyway, I'm going to take one of these nines and put it there and tap it. It turns to a queen. Why? I don't know. It's anyone's guess. I'll do it again since you enjoyed it. So actually, if I rub that one against that one, I don't even need to tap, so it just changes into the queen. All right, now you're going to scrutinise. At this point, people are going to be scrutinising a bit more now, so we're going to do it even more, under even more test conditions. All right? We'll take this nine here, and we'll place it in between the two queens like that. So it's locked in between the two queens. And then we'll just give it a bit of a tap and a bit of a rub, and it turns to a queen. That's three queens now, like that. So we've done three. So there's three queens, and there's loads of nines. Let's do it again. This is what Wildcard is doing the same thing over and over again to make the cards turn from nines to queens. I'll put that in there like that. And for the sake of variety, I'm just going to spice things up a bit now. Watch. I'm going to take that nine and watch it visually turns into a queen. See, that's visual. That's that one there. How many have we done now? We've got these two, and we've got these two. That's now four queens. 1, 2, 3, 4 queens. Now, a little bit of a transposition effect with this, just to spice things up somewhat, boys and girls. I'm going to take one of the 9s, yeah, and I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to bring one of the queens out and place it just here. Now, I want you to watch very carefully. I'm going to take this queen, tap it, it turns into a 9, and the 9 turns into a queen. It's amazing. If I tap all of these 9s against these queens, I actually get all of these queens like that. And that is my presentation for what it is, close up here on the table, of Dan Harlan's Walk on the Wild Side. I did that thing with my mouth then, but you just didn't see it because of the camera angles. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. It's a great version of Wildcard. And if you watch the trailer and when you watch the online instructions, Dan does this with a person in a bar. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and yet the people are still amazed. Great reactions. I mean, yeah, Penguin is filmed in a lot of pubs, but I get that because you go in a pub and you just do the trailer and do the online, not the online instructions in the pub, but the trailer in the pub, you get good reactions. So what you're going to get in the trailer is exactly what you just got there with the performance, except it's going to be better because it's done in a live situation. It's a person in a bar holding out like this. I'm not sure whether, you know, what happens with bars and people holding their hands out in the post-normal, COVID normal world, or whatever people are calling it these days. But I expect that people will eventually be able to hold things again, like cards and beers, and go to bars. And if not, you can just do it on the table anyway. The online instructions are great. Dan is a great teacher of magic. He's been there at Penguin for a lot of years now. He's part of that team, part of that instructional team, that tutorial team that they've got there. And so he's going to go into detail about how this works. It's a very easy routine. Pretty much anyone can do this. There's no actual moves in it. Well, there is actually. At the beginning of the routine, there's a Hammond count, because you've got to cover lots of cards that aren't actually the 9 of spades. Now, I didn't do a Hammond count there. I did a bit of a variation of an Elmsley count that I do with Gypsy Curse, because I'm not a big fan of the Hammond count, and I'll tell you why. Later on in Gypsy Curse, which is Peter Kane's adaptation of Wildcard, you do an Elmsley count, and I wanted the count at the beginning to look like the count at the end, unlike the BBC Dracula series, where the count at the beginning looks nothing like the count at the end. Oh. But when you're doing it, you could do the Hammond count. But that's really the only move in the trick. There's a move a little bit later on which uses a bottom deal as a switch. Not a bottom deal, but a bottom deal maneuver as a switch. I believe it's actually called a bottom deal switch, actually, the move, which is somewhere in some tome. But there's an easier way around it. Dan's very smart in the fact that he understands that not everyone will be able to do heavy card moves, and he's got that figured out for you. So pretty much anyone is buying this. What are my thoughts? My thoughts are, well, I just think it's really great. I think it's a good trick. I like Dan Harlan, I like his stuff, I like his style, I like this trick. There's not much to dislike about cards that change in people's hands from one card to another. I showed it to my daughters, they loved it. Most people are going to love this. There's 2 different people he's performing it to in the bar, and they both love it as well. It's just a great trick, and it's pretty much for everyone. If you like card tricks, if you don't like card tricks, it might not be for you. But if you like card tricks, no matter what your skill level is, you'll be able to get through this. Is it good value for money? Well, I don't know how much it costs. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, remember that I have a little bit of a criteria, don't I? If a packet trick is less than $30, it's always going to be good. If it's over $30, it might be good or not, depending on what the gaffs are like. Because of the amount of gaff cards supplied with this, and because of the effect, this is one of those things that will be good even if it's over $30, which I'm pretty certain it is, but I don't think it's over $40. The real price is here. That's my review for this week. I'll see you next week, where I'll be less wild, but more hammy. Cheers and goodbye.